What is up, y'all? I hope you are fit and well and good wherever you find yourself. We are here for our midweek alchemy message where we're unpacking our approach to the week's lessons. Hello, come on in. First up, we have the androgenite, followed by chaos, followed by the virgin's milk. Now, note that we have two instances of the blue alchemical rose here, right? The alchemy is all about transforming, right? Transforming darkness into light, our lead into gold, our bitterness into sweetness, right? The rose is used in Jewish mysticism as a symbol for the soul and the correction of the soul. You know, we have the pain of our, process and life's challenges, and the thorns of our, painful experiences, and even the thorns of our personality flaw. But then we also have the bloom, right? The unfolding of life's mysteries, the unfolding of the mysteries of the Torah and of the divine reality, and the unfolding of our soul, right? The blooming of our soul and our light coming through, our spirit shining through the vessel of our soul. So the rose is very deeply symbolic, right? But it is that the dualism of the beauty and the pain of life, the beauty and the pain of, life's experiences and the way that they teach and shape us, and the unfolding of the mysteries of God and the mysteries of life, and the hidden mysteries, like in the inner petals that we'll never truly see or understand, but the sacredness is meant to be kept hidden and untouchable and inaccessible. So we have these three cards. The Virgin's Milk was with us recently as well, so this has come up again. And then underneath the androgyne, the androgynous, we have the Four of Cups. Underneath chaos, we have the Sun. And underneath Virgin's Milk, we have Three of Cups reverse. All right, I'm going to let you guys listen to the audio and look at the spread, and then we will come right back and unpack it. Evil knows that if it can disconnect us from our joy, from love, from peace, from unity, beauty, fulfillment, and harmony, then it can keep us disconnected from our connection to Source, the Shechinah, which is the Spirit of God that we connect to for all forms of goodness, fulfillment, and vitality. If they dampen our spirit and keep us in fear and terror-induced depression, then we won't have the will or the spirit to create, to resist the forces of evil and overcome them. We recognized this yesterday when the entire planet was bracing itself for its possible destruction and extinction at the hands of a madman. This is the plan of the Satan in action. If we are the body of Christ, then he and his co-conspirators, are the body of Satan. Artists, creatives, joyful ones, comedians, makers of beauty and goodness, we need your good works right now to spread more light and goodness to the world and to empower our collective spirit to rise against the forces of darkness and evil. We're in the midst of another defining test of humanity. The rise of AI and the promises it makes is yet another case of the serpent deceiving the human soul to sell itself in exchange for instant and unearned knowledge and power. This will be the second fall of man if we allow this to continue. This malign force is a Tower of Babel, and again, mankind is evolving in ways that we don't have the consciousness to navigate. We've hardly evolved past the understanding we could grasp 2,000 years ago as far as our spiritual place and purpose in this world. And yet, our weapons and tools of destruction and greed continue to advance. Our hearts have hardly moved an inch. Our wisdom, without depth and breadth and foolishness, will be our undoing. So, as I was talking in the audio about the fact that the opponent, the devil, the Satan, our opponent, the adversary in this life, the evil side, the evil inclination, and the people who serve evil consciously, like they're aware of the laws, the spiritual laws of the universe and how they work. It's not a matter of, they're not the same as non-believers, right? There's like atheists and agnostics, and those are people that just don't believe that there's anything more, and they don't believe it. They think that it's, fairy tales or whatever. They think that, materialism is all that is. Agnostics are like, they don't know for sure, right? But like people who serve evil, like legitimately, and then the evil side, the evil inclination, like they have faith. They know the spiritual laws of the universe. They know how it works. And their devotion and their discipline and their faith is often stronger than those who believe in good or believe in God or, have faith in the some specific religion, right? And that's why they're so effective at plotting. It seems like it's not fair when evil or darkness triumphs over good. But it's not that there's like, God's not sitting there like waving his hands based on sentiment and judgment and that kind of thing. Like there are laws like that are in physics and like laws of gravity that are true for spirituality. And so if they know how to work those laws, then they can game the system, they can hack the system, they can cheat the system. And if God intervenes, then we've been learning that this week, that like the Israelites, if there's no true change or transformation or alchemy within us, within the soul, then we kind of slip back. We haven't earned that light. We haven't revealed those light layers or the vestments of our soul to make it stick. So even if God wanted to intervene, like the all-knowing wisdom knows that that's not actually going to be helpful or a favor to us unless it's in the most dire, absolute straits and need. So we're always given the opportunity to do our own work, to transform, to awaken our soul, right? It's like parents who do their kids' homework. They're bending to what their children want, and they think that they're saving their children like difficulty and time and effort, but they're actually robbing them of their education, and they're not making their kids smarter or more equipped to handle their future. They're just kind of pacifying them and keeping them in a comfort zone, and sometimes doing it well-meaning, but they don't realize that what they're doing is actually more damaging than it is helpful. Same scenario, except on a spiritual level. So the evil side, the evil inclination, and the people that are, wanting to serve evil, they understand the same laws that we try to understand and live by. Only they're taking the laws and they're not transforming themselves and becoming better or higher souls. They're just manipulating the laws of the universe. So one thing that the opponent knows is if our souls are taken into a low state and we disconnect from our joy and our goodness and creativity and love and beauty and harmony and all those things, then the Shechinah, the Spirit of God, has no vibrational affinity or way to draw close to us. Like, that Spirit can't be in dark places and in around like lowness and evil and sadness and despair, and negativity. There's no vibrational resonance for it to come close. So we have to cultivate that strength, those muscles within us, the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience. Patience allows for us not to get bent out of shape, right? Patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, forgiveness, self-control. Self-control is, to me, the most important fruit of the Spirit, because without self-control, you really can't sustain any of the other ones either. You're just constantly in a state of reactivity, being affected by the things in your environment. Now, I'm only the messenger and I know this information, but it doesn't mean that I am able to apply it to myself perfectly. I lose focus and become reactive all the time. I'm highly combustible, right? But the fact that I want to be better and that we want to be better, like, we don't have to feel like we have to be perfect. Like, we have to be as good as we can be. But like, there's two aspects of the opponent, the adversary, the Satan: the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect. What the masculine aspect of the Satan does is that character comes in and sets the initial trap to cause you to fall in the first place, to make the mistake. But the feminine Satan comes back around and tries to gather twice as many points off the board by making you feel shame and like low self-worth and self-loathing and guilt. And I mean, guilt is a more helpful emotion because it can create change, or a desire for change, or desire to make things right. But shame takes on the identity that you are bad, that you are worthless. Not that you've done something bad, but that you inherently are bad. So those low feelings, again, separate us from the Spirit of God, our source, our strength, our protection. And that leaves us vulnerable, right? So the other side wants to keep us in a state of depression and dissatisfaction and worry and discontent, because it knows that thwarts our inspiration, it thwarts our motivation, it thwarts our desire and hunger for life and experiences, and it dampens our hopes, it crushes our hopes. And so this card, the Shechinah, it talks about like creativity and what else does it say? Like, to me, I read the description a little while ago, but when I was writing this morning, I didn't read it all, because I saw this as all of these free spirits in the world, the creators. Like, one thing that I keep seeing on social media and in the zeitgeist, people talking about, is that it feels so weird to be trying to promote your art right now, or like something pretty, or something that, you know, is funny or frivolous, like whatever you perceive as your art being like not of like serious, substantial material and weightiness in the moment that we're in, right? It's like it's hard, it feels awkward when you know that everything is on fire around you and you're like, I'm putting out a new jewelry line, or, you know, I'm going on tours, my comedy tour. There's so much to laugh about these days, right? Or like my somebody that I follow on Instagram, like he does drag, but he also does spoken word poetry and music, and he has very profound thoughts and things to say. But he was like making a point today. He's like, oh my God, like it feels like really awkward. Like I don't know how to promote my stuff right now. But he also does a lot of like work, like talking and putting people's attention on, people in, dire straits around the world, particularly the people of Gaza. So the thing is, though, is that without the beauty and the goodness, it's like we don't have anything left. That's kind of the thing that makes life enjoyable and worth living are the beautiful meals that we have, or the moments that we share, the laughter that we have, the beauty that we take in and we get to enjoy. And there's so much value to all of it, right? I'm flipping through my feed and I'm like, where are the artists? Like, where are the artisans? Like, I want to see design. I want to see other things other than just darkness and terror. We need those things to bring in the light and to magnify God's beauty and radiance, right? When you look at darkness and dystopia, when the evil overlords, the caricatures have taken over, it's always like dark and gray and grim and colorless, and all the beauty's been taken, and it's just this like kind of decay that's happening, and there's a reason for that. It gives evil a place to fester. It's misery. It's the physical representation of misery, right? So we need beauty. We need to shake off our depression and our feeling like what we're doing is like frivolous or insignificant, and get out there and put it out there in the world, because it's like the world needs it. The world needs something to take in and to appreciate, and to admire. And especially in a day and age where like AI slop is just taking over everywhere. And even tonight, like I was waiting on a private party of Vanderbilt law students doing their, what is it called? They had a symposium. And so they were coming to dinner after the symposium, and it sounds like, oh, these must be very bright and intelligent people. And no, I can tell you they weren't really at all. They were sitting there regurgitating the same like stuff about M dashes. Oh, you can't use M dashes, all that stuff that the freaking literary agents were telling their writers. The writers are sitting here, the artists are like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm going to be mistaken for AI for using a human style of writing. And yet these Vanderbilt students that are supposed to be the bright future of the world and thinkers and coming up with their own thoughts, they're sitting there having these conversations that are basically regurgitations of what these same like literary agents are just saying. It's like everybody's just like flattened into one dimension. And then the other kids were talking about, oh, well, that person, got called out because their paper that they published was written by AI. And I'm like, okay, so the researchers and law writers and law students who are writing papers and white papers for research purposes, they're just regurgitating, they're just turning in AI work, and this is an Ivy League school. So when we generalize that, like, oh, just because someone goes to the school or they seem smart, like that's just one thing that we kind of know about them. It doesn't say anything else about them, and it doesn't mean that they're not also like getting lazy and not even doing the work. Like they're not gonna know the law because they had AI writing their papers. Like, it's uncanny to me. So yeah, so the same people, and not that the law students would have any kind of appreciation of the humanities departments, like maybe, I don't know, but like there seems to be a real disconnect there. But the artists will tell you, yeah, I want those punctuations. I want to rattle things off like that. I want to stop in the middle of my sentence and then, have a beat where I mention another thing and then another idea and I go back to what I was saying. That's what the M dashes are for. So it's like we have to like protect our human creativity and the human spirit and our inclination to create beauty, because that is in affinity with the Creator. The Creator, God, creates beauty, emanates beauty and goodness and life and perpetuates, right? The Creator has got a great sense of humor. He sets me up for plenty of funny pranks all the time, right? So yes, again, when we're in a joyous state, we have the energy to get up and meet the day. You know, we have fire in our hearts, and we're excited about life, and we're excited about, you know, taking it all in. But when we're depressed, we lose our taste for everything. Nothing is worth it. Nothing feels like it means anything, right? And so that's how we become disempowered, and that's how evil starts to get, you know, a hold of us. And so with all of this, like, you know, getting people like all the chaos going on right now, it's weaponized chaos. It's like when you're in an abusive situation with a narcissist and they intentionally keep you in a state of disruption and chaos all the time. So it's like you're stable sometimes and everything's good one minute, and then like the next minute everything's up in the air. You don't know what's going on. There's no stability. There's no predictability. It's just all chaos. Well, darkness and formlessness are chaos, and creation form came from separating that from chaos, right? So the evil in the world is generating chaos because they're basically using it to do chaos magic. They're manifesting all of these dark deeds and plans through keeping the world in a state of chaos. And so the only way that we can fight that chaos and that darkness is with the light, right? Jesus defeated death, defeated darkness, defeated the temptations of Satan's luring us in, right? In my opinion, or, you know, maybe it's not even my opinion, but maybe I was given the message, the realization over the last couple of days that AI is literally like humanity being in the garden all over again and having a chance at a next level of, are we going to choose our own soul and our own worth and our own value and our own creative minds and spirit and free will, or are we going to trade that for the promise of instant power, instant knowledge, endless knowledge and power, and all of this without ever having to earn it? Don't bother going through all the effort, right? Just do it the easy way. Have AI do it for you until you have brain damage and you can't think for yourself and you've sold your soul, until AI is developed to the point where they're telling you if you don't get a chip put in your head that you're not going to be relevant, you won't be able to keep up. And then they're gonna have people chipping their babies when they're first born. And I know that sounds insane, like I'm spinning lunacy here, but literally I just saw an interview with one of those AI CEO dudes, programmers, talking about how he's glad that he hasn't had kids yet, and now he's gonna wait until he can have them when they have fully developed the brain chip, so that they can get the brain chip when they're born. And he fully acknowledged that, oh yeah, I guess the threat is that like a corporation can hack your brain and like make you want to buy things and all that, or like, you know, terrorists can hack your brain and like use it for mind control. But also they'll be like super smart. Like we'll have to be this smart to keep up with AI. It's like they're making our own demise and they're scaring people and trying to convince people that they're only going to be safe if they take this chip. And they're not, like the chip is the selling of your soul, because literally your own mind you don't have sovereignty over your mind anymore. It's not even your own. You could be hacked and controlled and even infiltrated with thoughts that don't belong to you. And why? What for? Clinging to this world, to be competitive in this world. I mean, if it comes to that point, it's like, what's left honestly. I believe that there is an afterlife. I believe the soul has, another eternal existence beyond this, right? So it's just crazy to think, but I would rather do the best I can to survive with my soul intact and never take that route ever, no matter what. And so, so the light has to overcome the darkness. Our illumination, the wisdom of our spirit and soul is the only thing now that can overcome this chaos. And our determination to choose joy and vitality. And literally, it's like the Son of God, the Son of Man, Jesus, overcoming this chaos. And that Christ consciousness within us is going to be the thing that helps us overcome all of this chaos right now. So the advancements that we're getting to, like, we don't have the consciousness to wield these things and not be the source of our own demise. The virgin's milk is about having something that you haven't worked up to yet. Like a virgin producing breast milk is like a person who has never carried a child or been pregnant, but you have the result of it without having been through the process. So it's like someone who doesn't have experience given a position that they don't have experience for, which is something that we're also seeing play out on a world stage. And the consequences of that, but also the technical advancements going faster than we have the consciousness and the conscience to execute without being our ruin. And this has been happening, I think, since the beginning. We have always progressed faster than our consciousness can keep up with. That's why we have wars. That's why we have, things in the world that create more damage than good, because our technology surpassed our consciousness. That's what happened in the Tower of Babel. If you believe in the lost city of Atlantis, that's what happened there. So we're kind of in this moment again where here we are. And also, if you don't earn the light that you receive, you have a phenomenon called bread of shame, and it creates depression and self-loathing and resentment, and it creates chaos that then you have to go and work through a process to correct for. And that process could be any number of things. It could be a difficult, challenging experience. It could be, something that seems like a series of bad luck, or God forbid, an injury or an illness. Physical pain and sickness are one form of purification of negativity. Sometimes it is something difficult, a challenge that you have to navigate and go through this test. Sometimes you can just correct your that negativity or pay off that chaos just by proactive transformation and sacrificing your ego, proactively wanting to change instead of having change come find you, right? So I think what is so interesting too about the progression of these cards. So the first card being the Four of Cups that portrays this rainy day, and the little friend here is holding up an umbrella just big enough to shelter this person from the storm. Then the second card was the Sun, and the third card was Three of Cups. Now, think about the order of these, and I'm going to read you guys the Three of Cups reverse meaning from the tarot, the handbook for the apprentice. So circumstances have changed. What was good is now causing pain. Don't dwell on this, but turn right around and concentrate your energies in a different direction. What was good now brings pain. Remember, sunshine follows rain. So what was good now brings pain. remember, sunshine follows rain. So the rainy card, rainy day, kind of like, meh, Zoloft cloud, it was first, and then sunshine follows the rain. I thought it was incredible that the actual sentence from the book's description literally names the cards in their order and the specific images from this deck. I just thought that was incredible synchronicity. And then remember last night, if you saw the manifestation oracle message, the card about metal and armor and boundaries was coming up. And another card that together, it was like talking about how we really needed to set boundaries and protect our energy and protect our motivation. Well, here is that situation. It's like, okay, if something used to work for you and now it doesn't, and now it's just bringing you pain or sorrow, or it's just sucking the life out of you, then stop doing that. Because right now the most important thing is to try to be uplifted and uplift yourself, right? Without falling into a completely selfish state where you block everyone else out and all that and live in a state of comfort zone. Try to, if something in your life is bringing you down or draining you of all your energy or whatever, then don't keep doing it. Make a change, because is it worth your connection to the Creator? Think about that. I go through this myself all the time. When I'm getting fired up about something, I'm like, is it worth my connection to the Creator? And sometimes it's like after I've already been fired up about it, right? You got to catch yourself when you catch yourself and make the correction when you can, right? Is talking about this person right now, even though it feels like I've got relief, is it evil tongue that's going to come back and bite me in the ass later? Is it worth it? Am I breaking my connection with the Creator, right? Is this, am I getting into a state of distress and depression that is beyond what is helpful, and is just dragging me into the pits of despair and an absolute depression beyond the point of being motivated to do or to give anymore? You need to take some steps back and find your joy again, whatever that helps you do that, right? If there's a hobby that you love or something you like doing, or being around certain people that lift your spirit. I know going to the Special Olympics yesterday was very uplifting to my spirit. It was good to be around, people who generally are more accepting of one another and kinder hearted, and honestly just very sweet. I got so many hugs from so many sweet kids that yesterday, and it was just a really good day. It was a day that lacked cynicism. Okay, so further down it says overindulgence creating problems. Time to straighten up and take charge again. Don't let idle conversation from an old friend bother you. Take time to command of yourself. Time to take command of yourself. Make new plans and look ahead. So I like that. It's take command of yourself, make new plans, look ahead. Just snap out of it, get the discipline to get yourself moving. We don't want to bulldoze ourselves and bypass, but we also don't want to wallow and get stuck in the quagmire either. Fill your life with new interests. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You have much to accomplish. This is the big takeaway for me too. I need to fill my life with my interests. I have to quit feeling sorry for myself and victimized, because it's a very disempowering state to be in, not only for your own mentality, but vibrationally, it is a very disempowering state. And it's not magnetic. You have a lot to accomplish, right? I have a lot to accomplish too. And when I get down in the dumps and I get distracted with too much of what's going on in the world, then I'm burning daylight. I'm burning minutes that I really don't have to waste, and that could be spent, building up more of my dreams. Or figuring out important things that I need to figure out for my life and the direction of my life, right? So we can't let that slip. Days go by, weeks go by, months go by, and then suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, like a year has come and gone, and I feel like I'm not any further along than I was last year, and because of gloom or, sadness, or being completely distracted and disrupted all the time by all the chaos in the world. There is chaos in the world, and we have to do what we can to counteract that with the light. We have to realize what we do have control over and what we don't, and we can't let the chaos infiltrate us. We have to give ourselves spiritual boundaries that say no to the chaos, and we have to learn how to cultivate the peace of Christ within us. Like in Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Mary, Jesus's words of advice and his his command, his instruction to his disciples were, cultivate my peace within you. Do not let anyone tell you, go over here or look over there, for the Son of Man, the kingdom of heaven, is within you. So that is exactly what's going on. There's voices coming from every side. There's threats coming from every side. It's like that psalm that talks about, Lord, how many are my enemies that gather around me? They circle in 10,000s, But we know that even though that's true, nothing can touch us if it is not God's will, or if we haven't completely exposed ourselves to chaos through wallowing in negativity and darkness, right? And I think that there's a distinction, though, between speaking truth to power, calling out something that is dysfunctional in order for it to be repaired, because you can't ignore it either and shrug it off like a lot of people are doing in the name of positivity or spirituality or being, of faith. They're like, well, I guess this is just how it is now because of this, or, whatever, I have to accept the will of God. That's how it is. And it's like, no, we are actually asked to be proactive, and all the prophets called out what was completely unjust or wrong or evil during the time, and they spoke out against it, and they might have even taken action against it. That's why they were all killed. So we have never been told to be quietly standing by and complacent to evil running rampant. But we also can't take on the level of responsibility of thinking that we're the Messiah, that we're the ones that have to save the world. We do what we can, but ultimately God has to work through us and empower our actions and move through the masses. I love what Father David, I think, said today. He's an Episcopalian priest that I follow who used to be a judge. And he said, one of the saints said, prayer will change a person's heart, or a prayer might change you or your heart, but it's action taken by the change in you that changes the world. So prayer changes people so that the change in people can affect goodness in the world. I can't remember exactly. It was very simple the way he said it, but it was prayer changes people and action changes the world. I think that's what it was. It was very simple, but it made sense. It's we pray not for the magic solution to come dropping out of the sky, because that is our assignment. That is our responsibility. We are the stewards of the garden. But we can pray to help change within ourselves. We can pray to help promote change and positivity and healing within others. But ultimately, we have to take action. We have to take action so that things will change. If we sit passively by and wait for everything to show up for us, then we aren't being responsible. We aren't being proactive. That's why when Jesus resurrected Lazarus and he had other people move the rock, like, yeah, of course, if you can make bread multiply out of thin air or change water into wine or walk on water, you can probably make the stone roll back on its own. But he wanted the people there to be proactive and put their hands on the situation and get involved and be involved in that, not just standing by passively waiting for everything to be done for them, but to be a part of it, to participate in it. Jesus said he wanted active followers, not passive, waiting for it all to be taken care of. And I'm just going to hide out and hope for the best in the meantime. Oh, I'm sorry all this suffering is happening to other people. I'm sorry that the world has all these horrible problems, but we're in the end times anyway. So it's like, I don't understand that mentality. I don't understand. It's like, hey, I worked hard on this. I worked hard on creating this beautiful piece of art, and then somebody comes and desecrates your art, and their excuse is, well, it's the end times anyway. It's fine. It's just like it's in the end times. It's the end times. It's like, I worked hard on that. Like, that was like, we were all appreciating this beauty, right? It's like people who like destroy the earth, and they're like, well, you know, we're coming to the end times. It's like, so you shit on God's creation, you desecrate the temple, you like vandalize God's good works. Like, is that so? Like, you can totally like treat God's creation like trash with total disrespect and disregard because it's the end times. What are you, a looter? Like, are you like, what is that mentality? You know, like, yes, it will be the end times if you let everything slide into the shitter, you know? So we have to take responsibility and we have to be proactive. We're still going to have to answer for ourselves, you know? So it's like people are like, well, I absolve myself of the situation. I'm a believer. I believe, you know, everything's happening for a reason. Everything's playing out the way it should. God's will, you know, it's like, don't you at least want to help people? Don't you want to help the situation be better? Don't you want to help ease the suffering in the world? Like, it's not any on the radar at all, right? So, I mean, I think if we're here, we probably, you know, hopefully feel this way. So again, we have to proactively not only, you know, help others for goodness sake, but we have to promote that light within us as well and protect our lightness. You know, I keep reminding myself recently, like, lighten up. Like, I'm a fun person. Like, I'm a funny person. You know, I don't like being in a state of anger and sadness. It's not like, I don't enjoy that. You know, I'm not a brooding person normally. But like, when you care and you're empathic and you feel other things going on other than just what is going on with you, it's undeniable. You've got all this stuff running through you. It's going to fester. You have to feel it. You have to acknowledge it. But it's the boundary comes in when you're like, okay, I can't stay in this place. You know, I don't want to be in denial, and I don't want to be numb, and I don't want to be calloused. But I can't also be completely like ineffective and just knocked out in a depression where I can't participate in life and I can't be a light to others because I have no motivation to do it, because I just think, oh, there's nothing left. What is there to live for? Like, there's no point. You know, it's like you have to keep going. You have to protect your light. It takes work. It takes discipline. It takes choosing to pay attention to your thoughts and cultivating those thoughts. Choosing to pay attention to your emotions and asking them what they're trying to inform you of. What are they trying to tell you? What information are they trying to give you that needs change, right? And then taking action to make that change and to head in the direction that your soul is like trying to push you in, to call you in, to pull you in. All right, that is all for tonight. Tomorrow we will be back for our romance oracle and tarot reading for the week, just looking at our love lives and relationships and seeing where we're at and our growth there. Until then, you guys, I hope that life treats you kind. And above all this, I wish you love.